All right, what's up, gamers? It is time once again for the eSports Michigan podcast. It is week 4 of the season. This is episode 4. My name is Lorne Plant, joined by Andrew Blanchard, Ethan Williams, our tournament directors for our League of Legends series. So we are in the thick of it now. We've just got a few more weeks remaining as teams try to jockey themselves into the top 16. We're going to take the top 4 from each group of our 4 groups who will compete here at Lawrence Tech in mid-May for the state championship. So first off, let's get an update on the standings, and that is going to be by Ethan.
Yep. So in our Group A, we have the Seaholm Maples with a record of 5-0. In second place, they're the St. Clair Saints, 4-1. Third place, the Liquid Ninjas are 4-2. In fourth place, Team Viper is 2-1. Fifth place, Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks are 3-2. Sixth place, CC Shamrocks are 1-4. Seventh place, the Byron Center Bulldogs are 0-4. And in eighth place, Divine Child Falcons are 0-5. Now, a lot of these teams haven't played all of their games. I think Group B is the only group to have played all of their games. So they have a few matches to make up. So what's up in Group B? So in Group B, we have Galaxy Demons and Troy Colts tied for first place at 5-1. Revival and Stopwatch tied for second at 4-2. Lake Orion and APS eSports tied for third at 3-3. And MMSTC and Schoolcraft Papa Bears tied for last at 0-6.
Nice. What about C?
In Group C, we have the Chippewa Valley Big Reds and Clarkston High Wolves tied for first at 3-0. The Avocado Warriors are in second, 3-1. Team Smite is in third, 3-2. And then we have the Forest Hill Central Rangers, 1-1. Then Crimson Drakes, 3-3. SMT, 1-4. And Austin Catholic Crusaders, 0-6. And then finally in Group D, we have Loyalty, 4-0. The E-Rats, 2-0. Granville Bulldogs, 2-1. The Legendary Squad, 3-2. De La Salle Pilots, 1-1. Canton Chiefs, 1-3. Legends of Lakeland, 0-2. And Clout 9, 0-4.
All right, so let's address the elephant in the room, which is obviously there's a lot of games that some of these teams have to make up. How are we handling that?
Yeah, so we set up a Discord server, which is like a gamers community area. Forum, yeah. You know, so I created a server for the captains to all join. Me and Ethan are in there. Our referees are in there. And the captains all have their own group chat rooms so that they can keep in contact with each other and better organize rescheduling of games with spring break and everything. So what I've done now is starting tonight, I'm going in and I'm going to be like, listen, we got this game to make up, this game to make up, this one. I'm just going to go through each and every games, and the captains are just going to work with me to reschedule the games. There was a lot of miscommunication going on between captains, between me and some of the captains when trying to reschedule games with all the spring break stuff. So they all will know by the end of this week what games need to be rescheduled, and they have until the weekend to reschedule the games.
All right. Otherwise, you forfeit.
Yep. Otherwise, it's a forfeit. If both teams were the ones that needed to reschedule the games, then we're just going to count the game as not played, and those teams are going to move down in the rankings. Basically, if I have a team that is 8-0 and I have a team that's 7-0, the 7-0 team is going to be lower ranked than the 8-0 because they've played less games.
Right.
If I have a team that's 7-1. So they've played one game more than the 7-0 team. They're going to be up above the 7-0 team because they've played a game more than the other team.
So that's it, teams. You got to know this. You got to get your games rescheduled, get it together, work it out, get it done. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Somebody else is going to take your slot. Because what's the end goal? End goal is to be here at Lawrence Technological University's University the weekend of May 20th and 21st, 19th and 20th, where we are going to just have a fantastic time. It's going to be great. 2-day tournament and lots of great prizes and scholarship money, all that stuff. We're going to take care of you. It's going to be a blast. And this thing, again, we're just going to get bigger and bigger every year. All right, so that's kind of what's happening with the standings, what's going on right now. Every week we want to kind of talk about a game of the week. I think, Andrew, you got this one.
I got this one.
And talk about, what was one of the matchups that really stood out to you.
Yeah, for sure. So SMT, Universal Learning Academy, is the school that they're competing from. The team name's SMT. And the Crimson Drakes from Troy Athens High School competed on Monday night in a extremely close game. By far one of the toughest matchups between the two, and it had pretty drastic consequences in the standings, as both teams are fighting for that fourth slot in their Group C.
Right.
So, SMT and Crimson Drakes are both closer to the bottom of the standings. Had SMT beaten Crimson Drakes, then they would have been tied with the Crimson Drakes just out of that playoff position. Crimson Drakes ends up pulling out the victory 47 minutes into the game. 45 minutes into the game, so only 2 minutes before the end of the game,
right.
Both teams were dead even.
All right, so let me stop you right there. How rare is it that teams are even that close to the end?
It is like almost unheard of. To go 45 minutes straight, and I'm talking down to the 100th goal amount, these teams were dead even.
Was there a lot of trash talking going on?
I hope there was, but at the very end of the game, both teams were pretty good about it. Post-game lobby, GG guys, good game,
Yeah.
very close. Holy cow! The teams were also very excited about how close.
So how did it end?
So both teams were heavy, what we call like team fight compositions, where they want to be fighting 5v5 against each other, and grouping up and trying to push down the other team. And it just resulted in a very quick catch onto the enemy support by the Crimson Drakes, where they caught out the Fiddlesticks support and were able to blow them up right before the team fight started. So the team fight was 4 players on SMT versus the 5 players on Crimson Drakes. Crimson Drakes were able to ace them, killing everybody on the enemy team, and were able to just push down the base 47 minutes in and clinch the victory. But it was close.
So that puts Crimson still up ahead of them in the standings?
3-3 to 1-5. I want to say.
Okay.
1-4.
1-4. So SMT has a game to make up.
So SMT's getting better.
Yeah,
is what it sounds like.
They've
had some tough losses, but they're
it was
climbing
definitely
in.
a close game. So, but that does segue into our strategy session.
Yes.
What about this game really made it the way it was? And I wanted to highlight team compositions and understanding win conditions, right? So every team comp that you draft, there is some way that you are going to win the game. How are you going to win the game is what you should be going into the game understanding. Like, we want to pick these 5 characters because we want to do this one thing, right? If it was, last week, we want to draft these 5 characters because they're really good at getting the Rift Herald and then using the Rift Herald to push down and create an advantage.
Right.
All right, so let's draft around these. Both these teams, like I said, they drafted around a team composition where they wanted to headbutt all the time. They wanted to be fighting. They wanted to be 5 people versus 5 people. The difference, though, is in Crimson Drake's team composition, they have a lot of what is called catch potential. They have a lot of quick spells that can just blow up somebody from the enemy team. And so they're really going to want to be looking for odd man advantages, where they have like 3 people to SMT's 2 people, or 4 people to their 3 people. Some odd man advantage where they can get a quick and early kill, because if they don't get a quick kill and they group up really tight, the AoE, the area of effect damage that SMT had drafted into their composition was insane. The between the support character, the AD carry, the mid laner, and the jungler, all of them, their main damage comes from AoE spells that hit all of the enemy team at the same time. And I feel like had either team really identified what their win condition was, this game probably could have been clinched a lot sooner. SMT had a few fights where they were taking 4v5s, where they probably didn't need to be fighting, and had they waited for their other player to group up with the team, they would have absolutely demolished. There was a fight around the Baron Pit late into the game where had the brand mid lane champion for SMT come and just ulted the enemy team, they would have easily wiped them. Wiped Crimson Drakes and may have pushed to the win.
So why do you think they didn't wait?
It's a number of different things. It's understanding when to take a fight and when not to take a fight. The brand had just backed, and I wasn't in on the communication on the team.
Right.
He may have told the team, "Hey, I'm backing and buying items." If he didn't, that's a problem. Just letting your team know we need to take a fight here, and we need to make sure that we have all 5 players. With SMT, with Crimson Drakes, it's a lot of they took fights when they should have taken them earlier. They delayed, they dragged the fight out, and had they just really just pushed and immediately fought them, they would have really taken home a victory. They waited a lot and were able to allow the enemy team to group up.
Right.
And the enemy team was able to use their AoE to take some advantages. And we'll be showing you a bunch of clips of these game-changing team fights where we'll point out the different points where a couple seconds really changed the impact of the fight, where one person wasn't in position at the right time, or Crimson Drakes just let that one person get into position.
Got it.
So, but understanding your win conditions, really knowing we want to be fighting 5v5, or we want to avoid fights at all as possible and really pull the enemy team apart. Make sure you guys go into these games knowing what you want to accomplish and then acting on it. That's how you're going to get the wins. That's how you're going to come to LTU on the 19th and 20th. That's how you're going to be competing for the big scholarship prizes.
Right, because it literally is just a matter of seconds.
Yep.
You've got to make smart decisions and not stay too long in some situations. So if you guys have seen these teams play now for several weeks, so you probably have a pretty good idea as to who is really kind of the cream of the crop. So if you had to pick, like, say, maybe the 3 teams you think are really playing great right now and are going to be tough to beat, who would you say? And again, this can change from week to week because other teams are improving. But right now, if you had to pick those 3, who would you do?
So from Group A, I would pick Seaholm Maples. They are 5-0 in their group right now. They have one more game to make up.
Yeah.
But their wins have been dominant. They had a couple of back and forth, but they're undefeated in their group right now.
All right.
They still have a game to go, so they may be defeated when all's said and done, when all teams have played their 6 games. But right now,
they're going to be in the mix, most likely.
They are for sure going to be a dominant force in that group. They clinched a victory against last year's runner-ups. Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks.
Yeah.
They clinched a really good victory against them. And it's one of those things where you've got the runner-up of last year's competition coming in. Some of the same players are playing from last year's competition. And Maples just showed them what's what and took the victory.
All right.
So, but Ethan's probably got a couple from Group B.
Right. In Group B, 2 of the teams that are always super fun to watch, very competitive, very high energy type of teams are the Galaxy Demons and Troy Colts. And they're both tied for first place. They're both 5-1, and they're actually playing next week.
What school is the Galaxy Demons?
Galaxy Demons?
East Kentwood.
East Kentwood. All right, so West Side.
Yeah.
It's Grand Rapids area.
Yeah,
all right.
So they're going to be playing Troy Colts, our defending champions, right?
Right.
So these 2 teams have really been some back and forth games, and they are the first game,
on Friday.
I believe. Yeah. Right? On Friday?
On Friday.
Yeah.
Okay,
5.
this week.
Yep.
So we're segueing right into our preview of what the week ahead is, and it looks like right now the matchup, if you really want to, that we're going to really pay a lot of attention to, is this one on Friday.
Yep. 6 p.m. Friday, April 13th. Galaxy Demons versus Troy Colts. It's the one I'm looking forward to.
That's the game for the top of the standings right now. We're going. So for people that maybe haven't been paying attention, the way it breaks down, the first 4 weeks you play against all your opponents, and then the next 4 weeks you play against all your opponents again. So after this first game on Saturday, or this first game on Friday, all of the teams will be going into their second round of matchups against all the teams they've been playing before. So we'll really be able to go through and look at what teams beat what teams before and see if they can clinch it again in the last one. But this Friday game between Troy Colts and Galaxy Demons, it's the last game for Group B before they move into their next rounds.
Yeah.
So
where everybody has seen everybody once. This is the last matchup that you haven't seen yet. What are some other games coming up?
Well, in Group A, we can see those Seaholm Maples. They're always fun to watch. Play against Team Viper on Thursday at 6 p.m. Those are always fun games to watch. Oh, no, I was looking at the wrong week.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Seal Maples versus the Ninjas, who are
Against Liquid
also
Ninjas.
top, one of the top teams in Group A.
Right.
The Liquid Ninjas are. So they're third right now. They're 4-2. Seal Maples are 5-0. They're playing on Thursday. And so another game for that. These are two teams that we will be seeing at LTU, I'm sure. And so a preview of the matchup,
Yeah. So we kind of had a long discussion off air on trying to get more video so that fans can watch some of these games, because as of right now, they're not able to see the streams of the games, unfortunately. But what we're going to do is we're going to at least try to, definitely the big matchup on Friday, at least some of the ones that we really are looking forward to. We're going to try to get the capture of those games, and then we will put those out, via clips, and then also via hopefully the whole matches here every week, and you'll be able to check that out at esportsmichigan.com. That's the website. Our Facebook page, just search Esports Michigan. We've got last week's podcast there, which has Ethan's strategy session and the game of the week. That's already there, so you can check that out. We'll have this one up probably in the next day or so. So that you can check that out. We do have a Twitter page as well, so you can check out Esports Michigan on Twitter. And like I said, just bear with us. First season going through this, there's a lot of data that we got to try to compile, and that takes up a lot of terabytes and all of that. So we're going to figure it out. But we love the teams that are playing. We've had great competitions. And again, if it's something that you're interested in, you want to come down and check out the tournament on the 19th and 20th, you can do that. You can come down. We'll find space for you if that's something that you're interested in seeing and watching it live, especially on Sunday when we have the semis and the finals here. So that's another week of what's happening here. So we're halfway done, and we've got 4 more weeks to go right here of Esports Michigan in the first League of Legends high school series here in the state of Michigan. So stay tuned. We will talk to you next week.